Well, after a week of being out of the country, missing epic college football, I'm back here to give some more daily sports coverage. We're going to keep it going here, and we got to start quickly with Thursday night football. So the Dolphins took on the Bills here in Buffalo. If you had asked me before the game, I would have said this game would be a curb stomping, not close. The Dolphins would look like the worst team in the NFL, but in surprising fashion, they did not. They held their own against the Bills. Really, for 3 quarters, it was a tight back and forth game. And let's get right into it. So the game started. The Dolphins scored on their first drive, punching it in off a big kickoff return that set up great field position. And the Bills fought back, took the lead, but the Dolphins tied it at the end of the first half. So 14-14. And the big story in this game to me was the fact that the Dolphins protected Tua. He was not under big pressure. We've seen him make poor decisions when he is pressured quickly, and the offensive line doesn't give him much time to hold up. The Dolphins ran it decently well as a team. 25 carries overall for 130 yards and a touchdown, better than they have in previous games. And with time, these Miami receivers also look very, very good. Waddle and Hill are perhaps 2 of the quickest receivers in the entire NFL. And while they might not have a guy, one-on-one jump ball type player at the receiver position, these 2 guys in man coverage are faster, more agile, and just impossible to guard. And I think we saw that consistently throughout this game. Waddle was the big third down receiver. He was getting open on corner routes, out routes, slants, all the above. He was just tough to guard. As well as Tyreek Hill, just an unbelievable player. They found him in the end zone there to tie it up at 21 even. So, yeah, the Dolphins tied it up, and then Bills took the lead, and Tua threw an interception to ice this game. So while the interception was poor decision-making by Tua, I think this game can show us a few things. First, from the Bills side, a little spill there. First, from the Bills side, I think the biggest strength of this Bills team is the tight end position. They've got 3 guys that can all make plays. James Cook's a good running back. They have a solid receiving core. But between Kincaid, Haynes, and Knox, they have 3 guys that are incredible blockers, great pass catchers. The tight ends accounted for 2 out of the 3 touchdowns that Allen threw. And to me, that's the biggest story. We saw the Kincaid block on the Khalil Shakir touchdown to make it 28-21 was just a crucial play. He cleared out the corner. Kincaid had 1 catch for a touchdown himself, almost another one, led the team in receiving. I think this tight end position is perhaps one of the best groups in the NFL, maybe right there with the Packers. And those 2 teams are some of the best teams in the NFL altogether. The tight ends are really the X factor, guys that can block in the run game, can catch passes. It just makes the quarterback's life easier when they've got reliable players. So, overall takeaways here, the Dolphins, I thought they might look like the worst team in the NFL going into Buffalo, which some power rankings have had them down there with the Bears as, 31st, 32nd in the NFL. And they didn't look that bad. They really competed with the Bills. And if Tua doesn't make that interception, they're giving themselves a chance. I think the defense played particularly well, and it was a great overall showing for the Dolphins. So while they're 0-3 and 0-2 away, they've got some hope. The division's pretty easy with the Jets and the Patriots as well. They're going to have a pair of games against each of them. So we'll see on that front. Next up, another story that happened yesterday was Wofford men's basketball. 6 players were ruled ineligible from this last season for what is considered impermissible benefits. So you might be wondering what that is. I also didn't really understand what that is. So basically what the story said was that these players were given the equivalent of $84 to $108 in meal plans while they were living off campus. And the NCAA suspended them for that situation. The head coach, Dwight Perry, and his assistant, as well as Tyser Anderson, were also fired as part of this incident. And they actually were fired last week, and this whole situation came out this week. So a little bit of weird stuff here from the NCAA. And these undisclosed reasons that these players were fired comes after a season in which Wofford went 19-16 and won the SoCon championship to make the NCAA tournament. They ended up falling to Tennessee 77-62, where Tennessee never trailed in that game. But this was an overall successful season for Wofford, winning the SoCon championship. They were an underdog, I believe the 5 or 6 seed in the SoCon. And yeah, this story definitely is confusing to me, because these players were promised different housing than they received from the school, and they were also given meal plans, specific meal plans, but in the way that they used them, there was some sort of issue. It just seems funky to me, where your coaches are fired, you're probably going to lose these 6 players that are now given a 30-day window to enter the transfer portal, and this could be a situation where Wofford is unable to field a team next season if they can't get this figured out. So just an overall goofy story altogether. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And even with the age of NIL, it seems crazy that the NCAA is still stingy about money. $84 to $100 total for these 6 players and meal plan violations. I mean, what kind of world is this? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So the last story we're going to cover here is Clayton Kershaw, who announced his retirement yesterday. So Clayton Kershaw, the 18-season veteran for the Dodgers, a generational pitching talent, and his final start will be today against the San Francisco Giants at home. So looking down here at his resume, he's a 3-time NIL Cy Young winner, 10-time All-Star. He won the Triple Crown and Golden Glove in 2011. And of course, he's the 2-time World Series champion. So one of those coming in COVID and one of these past year. He spent his whole career with the Dodgers, which may be the most impressive part. He's also recorded 3,000 career strikeouts, the 3,000th of which coming back in July. And he's the 20th player all time to hit that list and the 4th left-hander. So just overall an incredible career. 3 seasons with a sub-2 ERA, 13 out of 18 sub-3 ERA, and the career ERA is 2.54, which is the best all-time since they switched the mound height in 1969. So Kershaw, just to recognize an unbelievable player and an unbelievable career, he's really been the staple for these last 18 seasons, almost as long as I've been alive here pitching for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And there's something to be said for players that spend their entire career with one organization. It's rare in baseball, it's rare in the NBA, it's rare in the NFL. But specifically in baseball, Kershaw this season, he's got a 10-2 record, pitching a 3.53 ERA with 71 strikeouts. He's been a pretty solid pitcher, and someone would certainly pick him up here, even at age 37. So it seems like this is his last season because he wanted to spend it with the Dodgers. He wanted to share the loyalty to the franchise that has kept him around for all these seasons and potentially have a chance to go back-to-back. The Dodgers, they've been a little shaky this season at times, but still one of the best teams in the MLB. And with Ohtani, they're going to be a force in the playoffs as always. So it seems like this season for Kershaw, he knows he can still be effective, and he wants to chase after one more ring. And I just think it's an incredible story and an incredible player, and I'm excited to see. Maybe we'll gloss over his start tomorrow a little bit and, cover him throughout the playoffs. But it's important to recognize just what an incredible player he has been for the Dodgers. So with that said, we'll have more college football previews and predictions tomorrow. One of general stories today. And tomorrow's video might be a little bit longer, just covering some of the games. We're going to do mini game day style here and cover some other stories as well. So thanks for joining along, and after the brief hiatus, we're back, hopefully with daily coverage for the foreseeable future. Thank you.